Welcome back.
Welcome.
So we're still talking about Miss Lissa Rankin's book, Mind Over Medicine. Yesterday we kind of talked about thoughts and how the human mind plays such an important and critical role in healing and your wellness, your general wellness.
And talked about the town of Rosetta, Pennsylvania, a little bit, and how happiness plays a role in
happiness and purpose. Sense of community, giving back, taking
they had
care
a
of others.
50% reduction in heart attacks, and it turned out that they were really just happy people.
And they ate like pasta and drank wine every night.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't their healthy eating habits or them exercising. They basically reduced stress, and studies show now that when you reduce that stress, you allow your body goes into a healing state, right? When you are at rest, your body's in a healing state and is allowed to do the things it needs to do.
Yeah, so that kind of, I'm going to jump off script here just because I think it connects well. We're going to get to a couple of scenarios here in a minute where there's evidence that the mind has led to healing. We'll get there. But, the opposite of community is loneliness, right? And I think we touched on it a little bit yesterday, that houses 50 years ago, there was a front porch and a carport. And chain link fences, and now we have privacy fences and garages, and the sitting areas
gated communities
are on the back of the house. Gated communities,
right? You can't even get in.
So it's we've really kind of maybe taken steps in the wrong direction in the name of luxury and
security, and actually it's that loneliness is more chosen loneliness than anything else. It's like, I don't want to be bothered by my neighbor. And it's, and I
don't think the internet helps that. That we feel like we're engaging when we're on Facebook or Twitter.
And we're not.
And we're not. It's not a healthy relationship. So anyways, that's kind of wrapping up what we had talked about, and we did want to give a few examples of like healing situations or people with healing power that we're starting to question whether they did anything at all. And so you want to talk about the study they did with acupuncture and...
Yeah, so they, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but they did what they had was called scam acupuncture, where they would set up people that thought they were getting acupuncture for healing, and then people that actually got the acupuncture for healing, and the results were dead even.
Dead even.
Absolutely dead even, right? People felt like their symptoms were going away in both sides, and the other side wasn't getting the needles.
Well, I guess there were a couple things they did, right? So I guess true Chinese acupuncture, there's very specific places, and I think with one test group, they just put them, there's all these lines, and I don't understand it. It's mystical to me, but like you can put it near without it actually being where it's supposed to be. And then another test group, they used like these faux needles where they thought they were being jabbed. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
But they weren't. But the outcomes, to your point, were almost identical.
And acupuncture all by itself is a stress-relieving environment, right? I mean, so even the people that were getting the real needles and they had an outcome, and the others, think about, if you've done acupuncture before, because I have, you go and you sit in this room and you're listening to this. It's quiet. It's often dark. You got this old Chinese music playing, right? Ding,
right.
Ding, ding, ding.
Right.
And it's soothing. And you walk out of there like, did I fall asleep?
And
did I relax?
There's an expectation of experience, expertise. You're putting trust in the acupuncturist.
You think it's going to work. You're not sure it's going to work. For my daughter's allergies, it was dramatic. It was a dramatic effect, so much so that my wife wanted her to go back this year for allergies again. But when you look back at hold this jar, and we're gonna in this jar is this pollen, and oh, I'm gonna poke you with a needle here. You're like,
Right.
okay.
Right. So is it physiological or is it psychological?
Yeah. I used to think the first one, that it was
Right.
physiological. Now I'm starting to go, oh,
You may be freeing your own mind to do the healing,
yes,
removing the stressors.
right.
You were talking about. So another example that Ms. Rankin gets into the book is like old time shaman, witch doctor, healers. These were guys that really, I would suspect, had no medical training.
And again, bizarre treatments,
They
right?
weren't subscribing to Pfizer and but
Who might be the real witch doctors out there, right?
don't get me started, right? So but the power that they held in very similar situation. The patient would go to them, probably in a dark tent or cave or hut,
An expectation of healing.
expectation of healing, a certain level of expertise perceived in the other individual. And bang 3 sticks, eat 2 leaves, and you'll feel better. And
Make a clicking sound. Make a clicking sound.
So again, did through that, did they free the patient's mind? Did they allow the human brain to start doing what it's really built to do? It's made to do. It wants to do.
Right.
But we suppress it with the busyness of life, the anxiety, the stress, we don't let it rest.
Yeah. Gosh, that's deep, and if you knew 10 people that went to the witch doctor and got healed and you were going to be the 11th, you'd have a high degree of confidence that you were going to get healed as well.
Right.
And, that again causes your brain to go, all right, we can do this.
And who doesn't trust someone with bones in their ears?
I think that was an old Simpson episode somewhere too.
Right.
I think. All right, I think we're out of time.
So,
where do we go? So, where do we go from here? What else are we going to talk about?
Well, gosh, man, I'm only about halfway through the book, so I hate to speculate whether there's going to be more or less that we want to touch on.
All right, let's continue. If not, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, if not, we'll do a wrap up, whatever, or we'll just jump on to something else because that's how we do it.
That's how we roll.
So, thanks for tuning in. You can email us your comments, thoughts, questions, concerns at snackcast@yes.fit.
Stay moving.
See ya.